Okay, so the point of this video is to show you why it's really difficult for me to keep a car on the road, and therefore really difficult for me to get to work every day, or even sometimes. Now, this car, I haven't been driving this car because I've been told by my mechanic it's not roadworthy anymore. There's too much damage done to it, to the shockies and the suspension. Watch out, parrot. So you always got to look out for animals on this road. There's kangaroos, wombats at night. So you've got that side of stuff to worry about in winter time. Kangaroos can come out in front of you during the daytime sometimes too. I rolled a car during daylight once on this road after swerving for a route, but can't do much about that. What bothers me is the state of the road, which has wrecked my last 3 cars now, I would say. Now this part's alright, this part along here holds up good. We've had dry weather for the last few months. It's been the driest start to the year for a long time for Australia. We're now in May, and like a lot of Australia, we're almost in drought. Not quite in drought, but it's been a very dry April, very dry March, and so far a dry May. And really hasn't rained much this year at all. And what that really means is that the road should be in really good nick, because what ruins dirt roads is rain. You get a lot of rain, it washes them out, you get more potholes, etc. But now I'm just going to drive at normal speed. I'm not going fast, I'm doing what? Around 60. So I'm just going to drive at standard speed along here, 60 k's an hour. And pretty soon you'll get an idea of why all my cars get wrecked. And a point I want to make, is that I live in the Coomera Shire Council, and from what I know, that's a Liberal national leaning council. It's a conservative leaning council, Liberal leaning coalition. Current federal government is coalition. So we've also got a Liberal coalition government in New South Wales at the moment, and we have had for quite a while. So we've had a coalition New South Wales state government, coalition federal government, and a coalition leaning local council where I live, Coomera Shire Council. So I'm not sure at what point they can blame anyone else for the situation I'm in, where this is the 3rd car in a row that I've had to get rid of because it's been wrecked by the road. Now so far, that's the good part of the road. Now we're coming to one of the sections of road that ruins cars, and it really doesn't matter how carefully you drive. It's nasty, and you'll see what I mean in a sec. Now you might say, oh, no one really cares about a back dirt road like that. Well, actually, school buses use this road. There's 2 school buses come up this road every day. This is actually the road that joins Burra to Mikalago, and the road off this road, Tingery Road, is so bad it's down to rock. There is literally no dirt on the road in some places. So people living up there are having an even worse time than us. But even so, it's wrecked my car. Driving on this road has wrecked my car. Again, it's another car wreck. You can hear the noises my car is making. After driving on this road for 1 year, I've been driving this car. but I bought it off my dad, so it's been going on this road a bit longer than that. But yeah, this road's just horrendous. It really is. And it does take a big toll, and this is not at its worst. Like I said, this is after a period of dry weather. We've had dry right through this year. So this road should be perfect. It should be in perfect condition. Because if it had been graded any time this year, it would have stayed good. But it hasn't been. It hasn't been maintained. And like I said, there's school buses that use this road. There's trucks, large trucks sometimes come along here, and it'd be a pretty rough ride in them. But the real problem is when you get to a place like this. This is one of the worst parts of our road, and this is where they put in a development recently. Look at the nice pretty curb along the edge. All nice and sealed here. But just check this out. When you come off this, they've put down this gravel. But they haven't maintained it. That bridge is nearly absolutely gone. And all in all, the road's just shocking. And this is why one car after another gets wrecked. Keep in mind, it gets a lot worse than this after rain. It was some really big potholes that actually ruined this car and my previous car and the car before that. And that's why it really irritates me when I can't get to work, because right now I went and bought a car on the 26th of April. I'm waiting until the 11th of May for that car to be checked, because it has to go through a special ACT government check, because I bought I bought it at an auction. It's a repairable write-off, but all it's got is hail damage. It's a lot safer to drive than this car, much safer. It's a perfectly good car actually. It's only done 50,000 Ks. It won't last long on this road, but if they force me, I'm hoping it passes the inspection after waiting for 2 weeks and taking 2 weeks off work just because they can't do an inspection before the 11th of May. Well, I really hope it passes the inspection, because I've got no money left to spend on... Yeah, it's got one slightly damaged panel, but it's purely superficial. And I don't have money to repair that to industry standards, which I've been told by one person could be the case. I hope not. Because this car has got to the point where it's dangerous to drive. I think you can tell by the sound it makes when you go over anything rough. It's banging and crashing and making a lot of noises. And that is purely the result of damage done driving on this road. So for the government to threaten to take away the little bit of income support that I get because I failed to attend their appointments, jump through their hoops, which involve travelling up and down this road, or get to work. If I can't get to work, I can't get to work. I obviously can't get to work without a car. And that part of the road is so bad it actually forces you sometimes to drive onto the wrong side of the road. But look at this lunacy. Then you've got this development here, Mount Burra. Nothing against Mount Burra, but look what they had to put a curb on here. A nice pretty little curb right next to all this road that's so bad it wrecks cars. I think they should have invested that money on a little bit more asphalt and take it down to the bridge there, so people can drive to work without wrecking their car. Because that's a lot of money when you add it up. Plus I got ripped off by the used car people that I bought my last car before the last one off. They told me it had its major service. It hadn't. So I couldn't afford to spend the extra $2,000 on it because I needed to spend, I don't know, something like $1,200 just on fixing the broken suspension and shockies from driving on this road. I couldn't justify spending another $2,000 because the car wasn't worth more than what I paid for it, which was $3,500. So it just gets to the point where you're going backwards financially. You can't even. I'm in a position where I can't even get to work. I'm having to wait 2 weeks. 2 weeks. See, if you actually drive on the right side of the road, on the left side being the right side to drive on, it destroys your car. So you end up driving on the other side of the road, and then you meet what? A school bus or a truck. Well, that happened to me the other day. I was driving on the other side of the road to avoid the really bad rough stuff. So I was driving on this side to avoid the bad stuff, and I met a vehicle coming the other way. I had to do a crazy swerve. So it is dangerous. It is to the point of being dangerous. And I don't know how the current federal government of Australia can say that, we don't need to dip into Medicare to fund the NDIS or whatever that was recently, and we can afford to give tax breaks. What, but you can't afford to fix roads? Because what I hear from the local council is that there's no money. There's no money at the moment. The money's all been spent. Well, where's the money come from? And who's responsible? Because right now, like I said, we've got a liberal-leaning council, liberal-leaning New South Wales state government, liberal federal government. It's all been liberal for quite a while. So at what point do you blame someone else for our road, which is not a road to nowhere? This is the road that links Burra to Micalago. It's a road that's used by quite a bit of traffic, although probably a lot less because it's in such bad condition. But at what point do you people blame someone else for the situation I'm in? Oh yeah, did I mention the federal government also ripped me off $7,000 on a partner visa application? That's another story. But yeah, I've had enough, and I'm collecting evidence now because I've had enough.